Hello crafters! Tonight we are going to be working on this crochet tassel clutch. So let's go over the supplies. You need some yarn. I know you're shocked by that. And a crochet hook. And probably a pair of scissors. Those are going to be the main things you need. I would also suggest a tapestry needle. Kind of like that, or yarn needle. They have these metal ones. They also have plastic ones. The two stitches that we'll be doing tonight for crochet is you'll be doing a chain stitch and a single crochet. So I posted a link in the description for tonight's class, in the video description. So you can link over to my website and look at the finished project and kind of some step-by-step stuff there, either before or during the class. But we are going to be making this cute little clutch that's perfect for summer. I'm going to give you a couple sort of caveats right now. The crochet hook that I'm going to use tonight is a little bit bigger, just so it's easier for you to see what's going on. Then you can see like this single crochet is much tighter. So you do want a tighter stitch for your finished project, but just kind of for demo purposes, I'll be using one that's a little bit different. So we're going to do our chain stitches, our chain row, and then it's just a bunch of single crochet. So if you haven't already kind of guessed, this clutch is a long rectangle. It gets folded up, stitched around the edges, and then the top comes down. So it's pretty simple, and then you can just use some key rings and make a little tassel to go on it. But it's just a chain stitch and a single crochet. So let's get started. Got some yarn, crochet hook. I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'll repeat this a couple times. So if you want to watch and then jump in, we'll do it a couple times since it's only kind of those two things. So the first thing is to make a slip knot. So I made kind of a little hook. I twist it over so the short end is on top. Then I reach up and grab the yarn and pull it through and make a slip knot. And there's other ways to make a slip knot, but for me that's easy. So why a slip knot? Because it slips like that. So I can kind of tighten it down around my crochet hook. And then I'm just going to chain. So if you've never crocheted before, you've got your slip knot. I like to run the yarn through my fingers. You might just want it over one finger. You might play with how you like holding it. Okay, then I'm going to hold this kind of tail end of the yarn to kind of get a little pressure. So, and then I'm going to chain. So I've got my yarn in the through the slip knot, wrap it around the hook, and pull it through. Okay, so there's the first chain stitch. Grab it again for another chain stitch. Grab the yarn, pull it through for another chain stitch. And I've got videos on my YouTube channel that go over each of these in depth. So there's a chain stitch video, there's a single crochet stitch video, if you need further review on any of those. So right now we're just repeating this one chain stitch. Now, your chain row is going to be this measurement on your finished clutch. So like right there, that's how far I've changed so far. So this will be how wide you want your clutch to be. So you'll just keep chaining until you get the length that you want. So So I'm going to start going a little faster. Now, when you do this, you will want to count these stitches because obviously you'll want to keep the same number of stitches throughout. You got to the end of your chain row, you do one more, then that's called your turning stitch. So you would skip that one, and now we start the single crochet. So you skip one, and then you go into the next stitch. You insert the crochet hook, grab the yarn, pull it through, grab the yarn again, and pull it through. There's your single crochet. So, and then you repeat it in every one of those chain stitches as you go. Okay, so let's look at this chain row. So this is a chain stitch, that's a chain stitch, that's a chain stitch. Each of these V's was a stitch, and we're inserting our hook under each of those kind of ridges. So like right there, that would be a stitch. Right there would be a stitch. Right there, okay? So once you do your chain row, then you do a single crochet row all the way down. Okay, I'm going to flip over to a much smaller sample piece, one that's not nearly as wide. Hi, Crystal. And do some single crochets over here for a minute. So, and as you go, it looks a little bit different. So there's a stitch, there's a stitch, that's a stitch, that's a stitch, that's a stitch. I'm still working a single crochet in each one. So I'm inserting the hook, and I'm inserting it through both of these top loops. So when we did that chain row, we had those V's, you can still see those here. So I'm going under the stitch, and I've got a V right here. So Deborah asked, what kind of yarn are you using? I'm using an acrylic blend, just from the craft store. Especially for like a clutch that's going to go out in public, I want it to be easily washable. I wouldn't use a wool or anything too delicate. But this is just a medium worsted weight acrylic blend yarn from the craft store. It also makes it so it's not a very pricey project. I think we could all use some projects that are simple and easy on your wallet. We're doing two things. We're doing chain stitches and single crochet. You're gonna make a rectangle. Your chain stitch is the width of your clutch, and then you single crochet for as kind of the height that you want, right? So you make a rectangle, then you fold part of it over and you stitch around the outside, and then this becomes the flap. That's it, right? It looks super cute. It's super easy. This is my favorite kind of craft. It looks cute. It's really easy. You need like one skein of craft store yarn. So this is just an acrylic blend from the craft store. It's only a few bucks. I don't want to use like a nice wool or something because it's a clutch. You're carrying it around. You're going to get stuff on it. You want to be able to wash it, wipe it off. It needs to be a little more, have things thrown at it, right? So if you can chain stitch and single crochet, you can make yourself a fun little summer bag. Thanks so much for hopping on tonight and doing a craft class with me. Feel free to keep leaving comments. I'll come back and answer any questions you have. You can email me or click the link in the video description for images and step-by-step tutorial of the project. And you'll also find links on my website for a chain stitch tutorial, the single crochet stitch tutorial, and you'll find other individual crochet stitches as well, the double crochet, all that stuff, and beginning to knit videos if you want to learn how to knit. So thanks so much for spending some time crafting with me. I love sharing these quick projects that are inexpensive and, you know, something that looks like, oh, I couldn't make that, is super attainable. You crochet a rectangle, stitch it together, you're ready to go. So thanks again, guys. Have a great rest of your day and happy crafting. Bye.